Welcome to the Edge Market Update for after the close on Friday on December 1st, 2023. And we had a nice turnaround in corn this week as we had some good export sales, much better than expected last week during the short trading week during the holidays. Came in very nicely. U.S. corn exports are up about 33% compared to last year, and it really sounds like Brazil is starting to run out of exportable corn. So our trade window is really starting to open up from now until the first couple months of next year for corn, and that should help support price. But we did find a new low this week as people were setting basis contracts, getting out of the December corn futures and moving to the March. So that caused some selling this week, but we did bounce off here from nice trendline support on the March contract, which closed at 485 today almost. And we actually closed right at the 20-day moving average of 484. So from here, I really would like to see us continue moving up and testing the 50-day moving average at 494. And this is actually very close to trendline resistance from the high back in secondary high back in July at 582, from the high in October at 521. That would put it anywhere from about 494 to $5 next week as resistance, and would really like to see us test that and potentially break out. Really enjoy looking at these volume indicators, which showed the past 3 days had a ton of bullish volume come through, which is really good to see. That's confirming the move in price when you see a lot of contracts being traded, and they were bullishly, bullish price action during those days. So that was really good to see. Strength indicators were weak to start the week, but we're back almost to a neutral reading and hopefully can keep moving higher. Money flows also were really sold off at the beginning of the week, and we rebounded nicely, almost back to a neutral reading. So we still have a long ways to move higher if the market wants to, and we're quite a ways away from an overbought condition on the money flows. Long-term momentum, we're really starting to flatten out here, which is good to see. We're still in negative territory, but things are starting to look like they might be moving back higher here towards more of a neutral reading. Potentially, if we get some good price action next week, easily could head back to that neutral level. So again, next week would really like to see, hopefully we can hold this 9-day moving average at 482. If we fail below there, have to hold this trend line resistance, or else new lows are susceptible. But also have resistance next week at that 494 to $5 level, and obviously would really like to start breaking out of that level if we can. On new crop corn for 2024 now, since the 23 expired, we closed today on Friday at 514, but you can see the trend line from October here. We are almost threatening to break out of that resistance level. We actually traded above that today, but we ended up closing right at the 20-day moving average at 514. I would really like to continue to see these moving averages hold into next week. Otherwise, the next support zone below that is around 502 to $5. But again, my favorite part of what I'm seeing right now is how many bullish days we had in a row here. 4 good volume buying days on December 24 corn futures. So that was really nice to see. Strength indicators are back to a neutral level. Money flows have curled up and we're moving higher. And long-term momentum, we're hanging right around a neutral reading here, a little bit below, but it looks like we're starting to move higher. So hopefully we can continue this momentum that we've had in the past few days in corn. And if we do break above this resistance level, that 527 for now is the main target to get to. Anything above that, we would have that 547 level, which would be a pretty decent level given where we were at just in the month of November and all the way really since August. Moving on to old crop soybeans, we closed the week at 1325, and we are putting this bullish move in jeopardy potentially. We are closed right above trendline support from the late May low at $11.41. We have a secondary low at $12.70 from October, and that trend line support is right here. So could be a good buying opportunity for traders. We'll see how it reacts on Sunday night with a little bit of rain in Brazil's forecast on the weather. If that does fail, really would like to see this $13 area hold right here. If it doesn't, we could be putting this bullish move in jeopardy. So closed the week right at the 50-day moving average of 13.25. We are trading below the 20 and 9-day moving average. So in the short term, obviously we've sold off a decent amount here the past week or two, but would really like to find support here and travel back higher to potentially get not only to $14 futures again, but hopefully at least get up to this, $14.20 was a prior high. The $14.35 to $14.41 range would also be nice to see to finish out pricing any soybeans kept in storage. But we have not seen quite as bullish a volume on soybeans, a little bit more selling action. So potentially the script might be flipping a little bit. Maybe corn is the better trade for now for traders, and they're preferring to take profits on soybeans to buy corn. Something to consider. But strength indicators, we do have negative divergence formed. Easily could break out of that next week if we broke above this negative trending red line. But we're pretty much right below a neutral reading on strength. Money flows, we have been oversold here the past week or so. Would really like to see these bounce next week. And then long-term momentum did flip a little bit lower, but we're still in positive reading here above the neutral line. So would really like to see that keep moving higher if we get one more shot at selling some soybeans at higher prices. So again, next week would really like to see this it would be about 13.21 to 13.25 level hold on trendline support. Support below there is at $13, but we need to overtake 13.46 and 13.55 next week to continue to see this bullish move higher up at least to test that $14 area. And the new crop soybeans, same thing for 2024. We have the May low at 11.16. We have the secondary low at 12.35 in the middle of October. And we actually closed right at trendline support today for the long term here. So we closed at 12.82. We do have the 50-day moving average acting as support at 12.75, but would really like to see us bounce there next week, overtake these 20 and 9-day moving averages and retest at least the 13.10 to 13.20 area, and potentially if that is a level somebody likes, could potentially make a first sale for new crop soybeans for next year. But again, volume wasn't as good as corn this week in soybeans. A little concerning, but we also don't have the best weather reports down in Brazil. And then we have negative divergence on strength indicators here. We're at a neutral reading at the close today, so we'll see if we can overcome that. Money flows, a little bit weaker, still could potentially come down a little bit more. And then long-term momentum, we are in a positive formation here. We're above the neutral line, but seeing a little bit of weakness in the shorter term right now. But hopefully next week, again, bounce here on long-term trend line support and continue to move higher. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions for us, please reach out at any time. Have a great weekend.